It is time for the Tan and J-Man Show live on the ISC Sports Network, as well as ISCSportsNetwork.com and the free ISC Sports Network app. Go download it today. This episode is brought to you by The Dam Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-breaded tenderloin, seafood, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail, The Dam Landing is the place to be. The Dam is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou that focuses on freshness and quality. The Dam Smoke is here. They have ribs. It will be featured on weekends and featured barbecues, steak. In addition, you can wash it down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation up to today. You read the rest of it. I can't talk anymore. Right in the middle there.
Including a constant rotation of today's best microbrews in domestic flavors or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Taking the fantastic views of Lake Manitou in their beer garden or outdoor bar area, whether by boat or by wheels, the Dam Landing is the place to be. Located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester. And that was a heck of an opening, J-Man.
Awful.
Throw it to me.
I am embarrassed.
Wasn't really prepared. Wasn't sure where you were in the read, but we got through it.
I stink. It's a Monday. You can give it to me.
Whatever you want to use as your excuse.
Did you see that Madison Bumgarner, under an alias, Mason Saunders, won $25,000 at a rodeo?
Did not see that.
He's been doing something at a rodeo in his home state of North Carolina, and under the name of Mason Saunders. Changed his name just for that and won $25,000. And the D-backs general manager said today, I was not aware he was doing any of that. Do you remember he was on the D-backs?
Nope. Couldn't name a Diamondback player.
Madison Bumgarner.
Now I can, I guess, yeah.
Time for Birdie Bogey.
Sure.
It's brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC, fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. Get your radishes. Switched it up today.
Switched it up this week. You're just throwing everybody off this week with the
I'm throwing myself off. I already hate myself for how this started. All right. So, question is, Zion Williamson has scored 20-plus points in 8 straight games. Only one other player has gone more than 8 consecutive games with 20-plus points as a teenager. So only one other player as a teenager has gone for more than 8 straight games of 20-plus points.
I got a couple good guesses. That's the problem, though. So there's about 3 or 4 guys.
Do you want a clue?
Later. If I'm really thinking I need it.
That's fair.
It. But it's nice of you to give me an option.
Just trying to help.
Having a clue. So, all right. Let's see here. I'm trying to share this on our social pages, but in the meantime, I'm going to read some on this day. Sports events that have happened on February 24th throughout the history of time.
I'd like to wish a very happy 81st birthday to my grandmother.
Yes.
Who I'm sure is not watching, but happy birthday, Grandma.
Maybe she is. So happy birthday, Josh's grandma. 81.
81 years old, young.
81 years young. There you go. On this day in 1917, the Red Sox sold Smokey Joe Wood.
Oh, Smokey Joe.
His arm was dead at the age of 26, so they sold him to Cleveland for $15,000.
His arm dead at 26, so he had nothing left in the tank. They obviously didn't have very good scouts back then.
Yeah.
Or radar gun.
That was 1917. So, boy, let's see here. Do we even have anything else on this day? On this day in 1980, the U.S. ice hockey team clinched a gold medal with a 4-2 win over Finland in the Winter Olympics. It came after the 4-3 Miracle on Ice victory against the hot favorite Soviet Union.
Did you watch Miracle last night?
No.
It was on ESPN, like ESPN 1.
I did not watch it. I own the movie, but I did not watch it.
I tuned in. It's pretty good. Do you believe in miracles?
Yes.
That's what Al Michaels wants to know.
On this day in 1982, the great one, Wayne Gretzky, scored an NHL record 78th goal of the season en route to 92.
Something people don't know about me is I share a birthday with Wayne Gretzky.
One of you is great. The other one's so-so.
Mediocre.
On this day in 1987, L.A. Laker Kareem Abdul-Jabbar scored his 3600th NBA point.
36,000th?
Thousandth. I said 100,000th. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Not too shabby. I prefer to call him Lou.
Lou Alcindor. Let's see. We really don't have a lot of good ones. A lot of Winter Olympics.
It's a rough time of year.
The Winter Olympic Games closed on this day in 2002 in what U.S. city?
2002, winter?
Yep.
Salt Lake City.
There you go.
I was right on that.
You were right.
J-Man.
On this day in 2013, the 55th Daytona 500 saw who win?
What year?
2013.
Don't know.
Jimmy Johnson won his second Great American Race. Danica Patrick was also the first female to start from the pole position. She also finished 8th, which is the best finish by a woman at Daytona.
Former terrible Dolphins head coach, Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, I was so lost. Yeah, and that's going to do it for on this day.
That's it,
Not
huh?
a very fun.
Man,
a lot of Olympic
terrible
stuff I just decided not to share.
I'm more of a summer guy. Summer Olympics.
Yeah,
which
me too.
I think are this year, correct?
Yeah, Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Mm-hmm. Surprised you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Where was it 4 years ago?
Rio de Janeiro, wasn't it?
That's right, because it was kind of a nightmare.
Well, right now they got the coronavirus in Tokyo right now, I think.
Is it in?
I think that's one of the spots.
It's pretty much
It's all over the place right now.
It's pretty much everywhere.
I know it's in Italy big time right now. Saw that on the news.
Not too good.
Nope.
Get your flu shots. I wonder if that even prevents coronavirus.
I'm not an expert to talk on that. Let's stick to sports, shall we?
We have a couple doctor friends. We probably need to have them on the show.
Let's get back to sports.
Talk vaccinations.
This is getting way off track here.
Well, there's really only one thing going on that's worth anything right now, and that's college basketball.
Yeah, pretty much. It's that time of year. It will be March come Sunday.
Almost March. Yeah, this is a week for March. I was trying to steal John Ross's
I know you were, yeah. I'm glad you explained that to everybody, especially those listening. Yeah, in the Big Ten, I know we talk about it all the time because we cover the Big Ten heavily on this podcast, and it's just changing week to week, almost day to day.
Day to day. It's unbelievable. I mean, you have Maryland, who has won 9 in a row, lose yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State had won 6 or 7 in a row. 8 in a row. Lost back-to-back games, including a home game. Michigan is absolutely rolling. Didn't think Rutgers was capable of losing a home game, or Purdue. And
that was their 4th home loss this year,
but I'm just,
3rd in their conference.
From the past 4 years,
well,
I still don't believe it actually happened, even though I was in attendance. And it happened. But.
And, teams like Michigan and Ohio State are starting to roll. Teams we kind of wrote off almost a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was when you were sick, your dad was on. I think I was talking about how I did not think Michigan had even a shot at making the tournament. Mm-hmm. Now they've rattled off, I think it's 6 in a row. Yep. And I would say they're locked in at this point. I think unless they have just an epic collapse, I'm not sure what their schedule is.
And I know
like
2 or 3 weeks ago we did our projections of who we thought was going to make it in the Big Ten. And I had Purdue in and Indiana out. Now I would flip those two and keep everybody else the same.
I agree with you on that. I think right now, anyways, of course, next week we could be talking. We have 6 Big Ten teams in and the rest out. But I would flip Purdue and Indiana, and I would take Rutgers out. They're hanging on by a thread.
It's unbelievable.
And they are going to be underdogs in the rest of their games. Yeah. I mean, it's just a tough schedule for them. What turned out to be a great story throughout most of the year has now turned into
nightmare for Rutgers fans, because if it doesn't happen this year, it might not happen next 10.
And who knows? I don't think.
We'll see.
I mean, there's been so many upsets. It's been almost. It's been impossible.
Saturday night was upsets across the country. You had Baylor, number 1, go down. They were playing Kansas, but still.
They had won 23 in a row.
You had Gonzaga go down.
They had won 38 straight road conference games.
You had San Diego State lose for the first time all year.
First time all year to a mediocre
UNLV team.
Maybe even bad UNLV team.
Yeah, just.
Which that's 3 top 5 teams right there. Yeah. So it's just been impossible to predict.
Who's the best team in hoops right now?
Kansas.
Is it Kansas?
I mean, they're up to number 1
I know
now.
they are.
But still, they're playing great basketball. I have not watched Kansas at all this year.
It's a typical Kansas team. It's nothing changes. Hopefully the death penalty comes down on them next year in the offseason.
The death penalty?
Not death penalty, just the hammer, not the death penalty, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, they could, in effect, get the death penalty like kind of Penn State did for a few years. But
2. Should have been 4.
Is that it?
Then they got out after 2. And Bill O'Brien was the coach.
We've been saying they're going to come down hard on Kansas for how long now?
Kansas, Louisville, Carolina.
Louisville did the self-imposed sanctions and took themselves out of the
NCAA
tournament.
did come down hard on Pittsburgh for 3 years, football and basketball.
Because it's Pittsburgh. No one cares about
that's
Pittsburgh.
what makes you mad, though. Why did they do that to that?
Exactly.
I mean,
and Kevin Stallings, former Purdue assistant, did he play at Purdue too?
Yeah.
Got a 3-year show clause, which means he cannot
He
coach
cheated
for
so
3 years.
bad because he was terrible at Pittsburgh. I mean, if you're going to cheat.
If you're going to cheat, you might as well do it well.
Yeah,
like
ask the Astros.
The Astros.
And we're not.
I was going to say, I was planning not to talk
let's
Astros.
not talk about them today.
But Jose Altuve got booed heavily
saw
today.
that on
Did you see
Twitter.
that? Yeah.
Rightfully so. But back to the Big Ten. Who were? I would say Indiana was probably the winner of the conference last week.
Absolutely a winner. Winning
the winner probably
at Minnesota, and then beating number 9 Penn State. I'm not sure where Penn State fell today.
I'll check.
I assume they're still ranked.
I would assume so.
So 2 huge wins. I mean, it's a quad 1, 2 quad 1 wins, quad 1 road and quad 1 home, and they needed to start stacking those. And now they have 6 quad 1 wins, which is, I want to say, second or third or fourth.
Penn State fell to 16th.
They only dropped 7 spots.
So you got Maryland at 9, Penn State at 16, Iowa at 18, Michigan State's back in the rankings at 24.
Illinois, I think, was the second team out. You could also categorize
Michigan's
them as
at
kind of a
19,
winner.
and Ohio State's at 23.
So Ohio State jumped a spot.
Yep.
After
2. They were 25th.
They were 25th, okay.
Yep.
After beating number 9. They did get beat at Iowa on Thursday,
that's right.
so
Yeah,
that's why.
yeah,
But
that's
I'm surprised. That's a pretty tough week, and I guess, rankings mean nothing.
I know. But how about the Big Ten standings right now?
Oh, it's clustered, isn't it? There's 3 teams that 3 or 4 teams tied for second.
Maryland has a 2-game cushion still at 12-4.
They're going to win the
most
Big
likely
Ten.
going to win the Big Ten. They do have a tough one on Saturday this week at home against Michigan State.
They haven't lost a home game. They're the only team in Big Ten that have not, but still.
Yeah. Then you got Penn State, Iowa, and Michigan State and Wisconsin all at 10-6.
Illinois 9-6.
9-6. Michigan's 9-7. Rutgers 9-8. Ohio State 8-8. Indiana 8-8. Minnesota 7-9. Purdue 7-10. Then you got Nebraska 2-13 and Northwestern 1-15.
Ugh. That's scary.
Yeah. Yeah, Purdue's 12th right now. The Big Ten tournament started today. They're the 12th seed.
Say now, this is completely hypothetical because they have 3 games left. They win, 2 of 3, and they might. I don't know. It'd be tough to get out of Wednesday.
If they win 2 of 3, I think they have to win at least 2 in the Big Ten to be sweating it out on Selection Sunday, Big Ten tournament. If they win all 3, that might be enough to get them in, but I still think you have to win 1 in the Big Ten tournament.
That'd be a quad 1 road win at Iowa.
Yeah, quad 1 home win against Rutgers. Wouldn't that be?
Not anymore.
2?
They've fallen
then
down.
Indiana would be
so
2.
For people that don't know the quad system, it's with this whole new net rating that I think was last year. The first year they did the net rankings, or 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah,
but
last year, 2 years ago.
They have these quads. So if you're at home and you play a team that's ranked in this net ranking anywhere from 1 to 30, that'd be a quad 1 home win if you beat them. Quad 1 neutral win would be any team from number 1 to 50, and quad 1 road win would be 1 to 75. So those are the quads. And I want to say Rutgers for the longest time was a quad 1.
Okay, yeah, I did.
Was in that top 30, but I haven't seen the net rankings at all here lately. But if they were to fall to even 31, that's not a quad 1 home win anymore. I think Illinois is 35. At least they were. I'm sure Purdue's right around that 35 spot at all as well. So in Iowa, absolutely, there's no hope. That wouldn't be a quad 1 game on the road. Indiana would be a quad 2, which there would be really.
Rutgers is 34th.
34th,
in the quad 1 or quads.
Where is Illinois at?
35th and Purdue's 36th.
Purdue's 36. Computers still love Purdue.
Indiana is 52nd.
Which they were 64th at this time last week. So I mean,
Notre Dame's
you have
56th.
2 quad 1 wins and you jump up, 12 spots. A lot of it, this net ranking has to do, of course, who you beat, but it also has way too much to do with how close the games are. Illinois hasn't blown anyone out in Big Ten play. They beat, except Purdue, beat them
Twice.
by 26 and then 17. But their other wins, you see Michigan the first time, I think they beat them by 8, maybe. Second time, beat them by 2. Wisconsin 1. Rutgers 3. Northwestern 4, Minnesota 8, and that was a really close one. Penn State 6, so they're not blowing 8 teams out. Of course, they've only been blown out twice. Now it's at Michigan State and at Rutgers, and at Rutgers they were playing without their best player. So this net ranking takes into account all of this effect, and Purdue hasn't really been blown out too bad besides Illinois. Penn State got them, but it made it look closer.
And Michigan, same thing.
At the end, Michigan, same thing, made it look closer, and that, it takes into account in this net rankings, which I'm not the biggest fan of that because, teams could get – Purdue's had a couple back-to-back fake rallies,
Yeah, sure.
But it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's – good luck figuring out the tiebreakers on your own.
I'm not even going to attempt.
No.
Honestly.
It'll work itself out, of course, like it always does.
You look at those 4 teams that are tied, and then Illinois is just half game back, and they play tonight. So if they win, they'll be in that – they'll be tied for second with 5 other teams.
4 other teams.
Four other teams, 5 overall.
Yeah.
They beat Wisconsin, beat Penn State, only played them once, but then got swept by Michigan State, lost to Iowa. So how the heck do you figure that out?
I don't know. It's Wisconsin's the one that's hard to figure out because they're the most least athletic teams out of the bunch, but they've been playing well lately.
They have like 8 quad 1 wins.
Ever since Kobe King.
Maybe he was maybe.
And, that's my theory on DJ Carton of Ohio State. They were struggling until he took a leave of absence. This is just my philosophy. I think probably, his guys were so worried about him trying to get him help. Then when he took a step away to help his mental health issues, they're kind of like, okay, we can focus on ourselves and focus on the team now. And I think it's really helped him out.
Sure.
That's just I could be dead wrong. But.
He's their 3rd leading scorer, I think, and they've gotten better since
those guys they're all friends, or at least presumably so, and you're worried about your teammate and your friend going through stuff. You're trying to get him help. You're not focusing so much as you should on the games, and I don't know, kind of makes sense in my head.
No, I think you're making perfect sense. A lot more sense than I did when I was reading the
reading's hard.
Reading the ad today.
Reading's hard.
But no,
it was a disappointing week for me as a Purdue fan. Played okay at Wisconsin. I got to give hats off to the Badgers. They went 19 of 20 from the charity stripe and hitting 12 in a row from the 4-minute mark on. That's a way to win games. Purdue still had 2 looks at a 3-ball that if they would have hit, would have got them up 1 with 16 seconds left. And then in Michigan, just couldn't get anything going. Couldn't get stops when they needed to. And really, if you look at all the stats, they were all pretty much tied except turnovers. Purdue had 12 turnovers. Michigan had 3. That was kind of the difference in the game.
Michigan didn't shoot the ball that well.
No.
And Purdue definitely didn't shoot the ball well at all either.
I thought Purdue should have stepped on them when they were up 7-2 or something like that.
Something like that.
Had a chance to get it really going, and they kind of missed it because for whatever reason, this Purdue team likes to dig themselves in a hole, and then they can't get out of it. And
Where they've had home games against Virginia and Michigan State, where they're in Iowa, they're
in
up.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, they're up 20
Yeah.
at like the under 8 timeout in the first half,
Yep.
and it's just game over essentially. But when a team hangs around there, they've had a hard time closing it out.
I'm hoping they have one of those games like you were mentioning on Thursday, but it's weird. 2 weeks ago after that game, Purdue fans were feeling pretty good. IU fans were not, and it switched. IU's 3-1 since that game. Purdue's 0-4. I think IU got mad, and Purdue got complacent and were satisfied with where they were. Sure, they've played pretty good teams since then, Penn State, Ohio State, Wisconsin, and Michigan. But, hey, that's the Big Ten. You got to come to play every night. So.
You got to win your home games.
Yeah, and they haven't been doing that.
Which is weird for Purdue to lose home games.
They're struggling more at home since they have. You got to go back to the 2013-2014 season, which was the last time they missed the tournament. So.
Do they have as many road losses this year as they did the previous 4?
I don't know about that.
I thought you were saying
home losses.
Home losses,
Yes,
that's what I meant.
Yes. They have 4 this year, and they had 4 the past combined years.
I'll win your home games.
And they have 3 conference losses. Oh.
Yeah, which that's
Back
rare.
to back right now.
because
hopefully they'll make it 3 in a row on Thursday night, but we'll see. We'll get to that prediction here in a little
coming
bit.
into that Illinois-Purdue game, Purdue had won, 12 straight against ranked Big Ten opponents at home with an average victory of
Well, in their conference, home
16.
record was going back to Ohio State game 2 years ago before that game.
It'd probably be that then.
Because they went undefeated at home last year.
That's why I said I was never picking against the Boilers in the last 2 times
we're going to see what you picked this week.
But anyway, the Illini got a big win. You could also kind of categorize them as winners on Tuesday.
Sure.
Did you watch any of the game? Of course, Purdue
bits and
was
pieces.
on. So Fox Sports 1 did this all-access thing. Limited commercial breaks. There was only 2 commercials, actually. One as the players were running to the locker room at halftime, and one when they were run back on the court at halftime. Coaches were mic'd up, had cameras on them at all times, did a split screen sort of deal.
Was it better than the Indiana-Purdue split screen?
Far better. I mean, I didn't have to hear about Bob Knight, which was nice. Yeah. At first, I was a little perturbed about it being split screen because you know how I hate the split screen. Most people do, but I got used to it after a while. You could barely even hear the commentators at all just because the coaches were mic'd up. And you could hear them throughout the game. Both coaches are prone to let the obscenities fly, and so they were pretty.
Most coaches are.
They were pretty held back. You could tell. Actually, I read a story. They have to agree to do this sort of all access thing back in like June or July.
Yeah, way in advance.
Of course, Illinois' PR team was pretty nervous about it because they know Underwood.
I can
the
only
person
imagine.
who was most nervous about him being mic'd up was his mother. She was petrified about it, but went off without a hitch. Io DeSumo, 2 weeks after, or just a week after, we thought his season might have been over. He just missed one game. You know, a lot of NBA draft prospects might sit out to wait till they're 100%, but that's not in Io's DNA. He's a gamer. His knee was only at 50%. He went out there, scored 24 points on 15 shots.
Yeah, he's gone after this year.
He's absolutely gone. And won Big Ten Player of the Week, which I think is the first time he's won it this year. Maybe ever. I don't remember him winning it last year. He might have. But anyway, a few interesting things happened during this mic'd up thing. It was just kind of interesting to hear the coaches and officials interact, of course. Pat Chambers didn't stop complaining the whole time. He just whined and whined and whined and whined and whined, which that got kind of annoying, which Underwood usually on the officials a lot, and he wasn't as bad, probably because Illinois was winning. But Kofi Coburn picked up his second foul with 16 minutes left in the first half, and Underwood was on the official pretty good. That's ticky-tack for this league. That's terrible. That's 2 on him now. But then it was the under 16 first TV timeout. He went to the bench and just lit into Kofi. He said, you had 1 foul. You can't go for the steal there. That's awful. So it's just kind of interesting to hear him just rip his player.
You got to work the officials a little bit.
Have to. And then right before half, there was an interesting moment, which ended up being a huge part of the game towards the end. But right at the end of the first half, it was a loose ball, kind of skirmish. They blew the whistle, called the jump ball, but there was little extracurricular stuff, and Mike Watkins pushed Io DeSumo, and Watkins has a short fuse. I mean, he's been teed up a bunch. And as Io's kind of backing away with his hands up, Underwood grabs and says, "Atta kid." Like, we knew he could, he has a short fuse, and we wanted to get him a tech. And so it was a jump ball, possession arrow, Illinois. But and so they reviewed it and all that. The officials did. Terry Weimer, who I'm not a big fan of as an official, comes over, talks to Underwood, said, "Okay, we got a F1 on 24. You get 2 shots and the ball." Underwood, thankfully he was on his P's and Q's, said, "Since it was a flagrant foul, shouldn't we retain possession and get ball right after half?" And Weimer said, "I don't think so because it was after the jump ball. We'd already called it. Dead ball, but I'll go find out." Goes and finds out, comes back, said, "You will retain possession." That is huge because there were 2 other jump balls, and one of them was with 30 seconds left and Illinois retained possession. It would have been Penn State's ball, down 2 against Illinois late in the game. But anyway, I'll get to that. So he chooses Trent Frazier to go to the line, 88% free throw shooter. Underwood asks him, "You going to make these?" Frazier, "Of course I'm going to make them." Goes up there, barely hits rim on both of them, clanks them. But anyway, go to halftime. Illinois is up 4. They go to each locker rooms, of course, and Underwood's more about X's and O's and all that. He's drawing up plays and stuff, and Chambers just lighting into his team. We're not playing with effort. We need to box out, all that sort of stuff. Doesn't say one thing about basketball, just playing hard pretty much. But anyway, nothing real overly fun happens during the whole game. Illinois retains possession. 30 seconds left because of that jump ball that they would not have had Underwood not been on his P's and Q's earlier in the game. Retained possession up to 30 seconds left, 20 seconds left in the shot clock. Underwood calls his last time out. They go to the huddle. Of course, they're going to drop a play to Ayo Dosunmu because he's their best player and one of the best killers in the nation, if not the best in the Big Ten, him or Anthony Cowan. But anyway, they go to Pat Chambers, his huddle. Penn State, he said to his team, he's screaming at him, number 11 cannot go left. Force him left. So the play starts, of course, to get the ball to Ayo. And what does Penn State do? They force him left. They overplay his right hand. What does Ayo do? He crosses over in between his legs, goes left, throws up a little floater, hits it, puts the game on ice. Pat Chambers' reaction was classic. He rolled his eyes, threw his head back, laid against the scorer's table. I can't believe he just did that. Anyway, Illinois gets stopped, gets the ball. Trent Frazier's at the line, and Pat Chambers screaming at his team. He just screamed at his team the whole game. Said, number 11 kicked our butts the whole game. This is why we take pride in defense, all that. So it was kind of interesting to see coaches interact with their players. And huge win for Illinois. I didn't even say they won the game. Huge win for Illinois going on the road, getting a quad one road victory. They are one of just 11 teams to have 4 road wins against the quad one. They're the only team in the country to have 4 road wins against teams ranked in the top 40 in the net rankings. So
they've been road warriors.
As long as they take care of business these next 2 to 3 games, they should be in pretty good shape and will be just playing for better seeding throughout the NCAA
I think they're
tournament.
fine anyways.
If they lose out, you think they're fine? No.
Nah, that might make you a little
they're
worried,
out.
but
So I was pretty happy with the way they played.
sure.
And Ayo, it was actually huge. They had a whole week off. Ayo got to rest his knee. Says it's at 80-85% now. So hopefully he can go off for 40.
Yep. 10 years ago today, I was in almost tears due to a knee injury to Robbie Hummel. So I can't believe that's 10 years ago.
10 years. He was just put in the Purdue Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was over
Saturday.
on Friday night, and then they got huge ovation on Saturday for it. Which is cool.
I kind of felt bad for the other people next to him. I mean, they knew they weren't going to get the ovation Hummel did, but you should see swimmers get the same type of ovation. No standing.
Casey Matthews, she was a good diver. So.
Volleyball players.
Yep.
There's a couple former football players too.
Yep. So.
But Hummel got the ovation.
Sure.
For all of them, really.
Sure. Well, he's one of the most popular Purdue athletes of all time.
Yeah.
So.
And he ripped them. I watched the end of they did a replay of the game on Big Ten Network. I just watched it because I heard Hummel ripped into him.
He needed to.
In the final 2 minutes, he said, this does not look like a team that's fighting and clawing for their postseason lives. They're just not playing hard.
Matt Painter, after the game, said he was disappointed in their competitiveness. Mm-hmm. And he made an interesting quote. I like our guys. I like our pieces, but I don't like our pieces work together.
Yeah,
okay.
Fair.
But Coach, but how do you get that going with 3 games left in the season? It's
I think
a little
they
late now.
kind of are what they are, you know.
I don't know. We'll see Thursday night. If you can't get pumped up to play on Thursday, you shouldn't be wearing a uniform.
Right.
But want to pick some games?
Let's do it. I'll bring them up on my phone.
All right. Yeah.
Tonight, we have the Nebraska Huskers at the Illini.
Line is 13.5-point favorites. They're gonna blow them out.
Illinois by 6.
No way.
I'll be chewing.
Maybe only up 6.5. And then
chewing my fingernails.
You were worried about the Howard game earlier this year.
Hampton,
even whatever. Hampton, Howard,
or it was one of those.
I think it was Howard.
H schools. Tuesday night, Iowa at Michigan State.
Take Spartans.
I'm not sure when C.J. Frederick is supposed to be back.
I don't think it matters in this one.
I don't either. Iowa's a far better team at home. They've been.
Michigan State's lost more home games than they normally do, too, in the season, it seems like.
Who have they lost to at home?
Penn State.
That's right.
Maryland.
Forgot about that one.
That might be it. But
those were just recently.
They don't lose too many.
Give me Michigan State regardless. Iowa gets blitzed on the road early, except against Minnesota. I mean, they did it back-to-back games against Purdue and Indiana. But anyway, give me the Sparty. Wednesday night, huge one in what the heck is Penn State's arena?
Bryce Jordan
Center. Rutgers at Penn State.
Give me Penn State. They bounce back. Both teams have lost 2 straight. But I like Penn State at home.
I agree. Rutgers needs this one.
Penn State can't afford to lose 3 in a row either. You get some bad mojo going, they're going to make the tournament, but you kill your seeding and
it's fair.
Kill your chance to do something because they're talented enough to make a run.
This is an intriguing matchup. Maryland at Minnesota.
Maryland. Coming off loss. Minnesota really needs it, but I think Minnesota's pretty much done. But a win here helps them out. But.
Give me the Gophers, and they get right kind of back into that convo. I still don't think they make the tournament. Thursday night, we have 4 Thursday nighters this week. First one, Wisconsin at Michigan.
Really interesting game here. Give me the Wolverines at home, though. I would take whoever's at home between these two teams.
I agree. Give me the Wolves. They go by the Wolves.
Wolverines. Jeez, you're doing that thing again where you shorten all the nicknames. That's not annoying.
Indiana at Purdue.
The Who's against the Acres. I don't feel as near as confident as I did a week ago. I wasn't even nervous about this game. But I don't know. It's probably because of what I believe, but I still think Purdue wins.
Give me Purdue. You gonna hit me? Purdue's not losing 3 straight home games.
I don't want to look at you right now.
You're lucky I didn't book it. I was thinking about it earlier today.
I thought that was going to be your book. But, Trace Jackson Davis is going to get his. You got to let him. You got to try to contain Devontae Green. If he goes off, he can really get him going. But Purdue's got to hit some shots. Last time they played against Indiana, they hit shots. And Indiana had 0 points in transition. Don't let them get out and get running.
IU's defense has been fierce.
Yeah, they've been playing harder.
They've been playing well.
If Purdue doesn't come out and play hard Thursday, I'll be shocked. But we'll see.
Illinois at Northwestern.
Illinois in a close one.
Give me Northwestern.
Whoa.
Ohio State at Nebraska.
Why?
It's Northwestern's national championship.
But they've been playing so badly.
They're playing so bad, but it could just be my PTSD of Illinois years past that is doing
They did
this.
play Illinois real tough in Champaign
really
early
tough.
this year. That's why I said in a close one, because I agree. It's their Super Bowl.
Crazy.
It's going to be rocking for the however many fans are there. That are actually Northwestern fans, not Illinois fans. But there's a reason they're 1-15 in the conference or whatever it is.
It's crazy to even say this about a 6-20 team, but Northwestern's as bad of a matchup as anyone.
Well, they're
because they're all 5 spots are big. Yeah. I mean, Illinois is a decently big team, but right now they're starting 4 players, 6.
It is interesting you bring this up though now because you should be confident with the 3 teams you play this week and where you play them, but yet it's so nerve-wracking
if you lose
them, then
it's real bad,
detrimental.
Yeah, that's why I'm embarrassingly so nervous about tonight's home game against Nebraska. I mean, I should be ridiculously confident in.
And people that listen to this tomorrow are gonna be like, "You see, Josh had no reason to worry."
If they lose, though, it's gonna be. You might have to.
He already warned me if they somehow lose all their games this week. He's probably not going to be present on next week's podcast. So,
Ohio State at Nebraska.
Give me Ohio State.
I agree. Friday night, no games. They're done with those.
Yeah, they've been done for a little since the Illinois-Maryland one.
This is a big one. Saturday, Penn State at Iowa.
Give me Iowa. They play better at home.
Give me a Nittany Lions. I think they get her done.
I think they have a pretty good week this week.
Yeah. Michigan State at Maryland.
Give me Sparty.
I'm trending that way.
I'm afraid they're going to hit their stride like they do a lot of times.
It's just a matter of time, in my opinion. I think Michigan State gets revenge and Maryland loses their 3rd straight. Because I have them losing to Minnesota.
They would be tied with somebody probably for the conference. They have a 2-game lead. And you said Penn State. You said Penn State's winning both. So that would
and Michigan State winning
and
twice.
Penn State's got the tiebreaker over Michigan State because they beat them at Michigan State.
Interesting.
I don't know if they play again. But.
Interesting. I'll go check right now. Michigan State, you say?
Yeah, Michigan State and Penn State. Because Penn State beat them at the Breslin Center earlier this year. I don't know.
They do. March 3rd.
That could be a big one.
All 4 of Michigan State's remaining games are against ranked opponents.
That doesn't hurt my feelings.
No. I hate them. Sunday, Indiana at Illinois.
Taking Illinois in this one.
Give me Illinois in a close one.
I got the line. I go 3-0. I do think it's a close game.
This will be the J-Man's Bucket Prediction of the Week, which is brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watchering. For life, home, auto, renters, business, workers' comp, and farm, contact Travis at 219-869-4561. And also his email is travis.watchering@infb.com.
You can also like him on Twitter and like his Facebook page.
I think Illinois loses at least once this week. I just feel like it's going to happen.
No, you picked them to lose once, so.
I did, so I'm sticking true to my word. Hope they win all three, obviously.
You got your bucket right last week.
I did. I feel good about it.
Indiana Minnesota.
Winning in Minneapolis.
Yep.
Michigan at Ohio State. Good old football rivalry here.
Ohio State got them in the first matchup up in Ann Arbor. I think they get them again and sweep them.
I agree. Ohio State's playing well.
That's going to be a good game,
State's
though.
Those
teams are similar. It's weird. They're both pretty good shooting teams, even though Michigan
pretty finesse teams.
Yeah, aggressive on defense.
All five guys can shoot on the court for
deep.
Game of the century. Northwestern at Nebraska.
Give me Nebraska just because they're at home.
Give me Nebraska as well.
That's a terrible. Oh, my gosh. How many people are going to be in attendance? Over or under 7,000?
I don't know how many their gym holds.
Probably a decent amount.
Going over.
Yeah. Probably safe bet.
Minnesota at Wisconsin. If Minnesota can get both of these this week.
Battle for the axe in football. Give me Wisconsin.
Give me Wisconsin as well. You want to go through and do some other top 25 games
and even
throughout
Notre
the
Dame
week?
and Butler.
Tonight we got a real good matchup. Louisville at Florida State.
Give me Seminoles.
Give me FSU as well. Big road win at NC State over the week. Louisville just waxed Carolina.
Who doesn't wax Carolina nowadays?
I'm just going to pick and choose a few of these.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of great matchups. Do you think San Diego State bounces back at home against Colorado State?
Yes.
Colorado State's 19-10, though. They're a little better than UNLV. You give me San Diego State as well. This is a semi-interesting one. Texas Tech at Oklahoma. Oklahoma 16-11.
Give me Oklahoma.
I agree. Texas Tech's been playing pretty good basketball right now. Auburn did get a win. Came back from 17 down in the second half against Tennessee to get a win. They played Mississippi, who's bad.
Give me Auburn. I do not like them, though.
I hate Bruce Pearl. I was trying to tee it up.
I don't like a lot
Auburn
of
really needs to win.
Teams in the SEC. I really don't.
Yeah.
And football, definitely. But in basketball, I'm starting not to like a lot of their teams. Oh.
Haven't liked Kentucky in a while. Ever.
I don't like Auburn.
You beat Tennessee in the tournament last year.
Yeah, I'm just tired of playing them. They're in another tournament with them in like 2 years. But LSU, not a big fan. Dirty.
No. Don't mind their football
Florida
team.
doesn't bother me.
They need to get winning.
But anyways. Yeah.
Another team that needs a win after losing 2 straight home games is Colorado.
Yes.
Lost at home to USC and
UCLA. Who could play themselves in the tournament.
I know, they're rolling right now. Mick Cronin's a heck of a ball coach.
He's got it, yep.
They play at 11-16 Cal.
Oh, give me Colorado.
I agree. I think they bounce back.
Cal hadn't been good in a while.
Friday night, Davidson at Dayton.
Dayton Flyers.
Davidson's 14-12, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Steph Curry's not walking through those doors.
No, he's not. Any good ones on Saturday? Auburn at Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Give me Kentucky as well.
Game day's Michigan State at Maryland, by the way.
Some
people probably thought it was Auburn, Kentucky, but Michigan State, Maryland for the second time, I believe. I believe they did game day. I could be wrong about that, but I think
it's an 8-o'clocker.
Yeah.
San Diego State against Steve Alford's team out there in Reno.
Give me San Diego State.
I agree.
How is Steve Alford and RHS grad Corey Barnett doing?
18-10.
Okay, a little better than I thought they were doing.
They do have some bad losses. They lost to like a bad San Jose State team, or I think they're bad anyway. St. Mary's at Gonzaga. This is always a fun one.
Gonzaga will get them at home.
Yeah, I agree. Zags had won 38 in a row.
See, teams
on the road in conference.
Teams that are on the bubble.
BYU's in.
Yeah, Gonzaga and BYU got to get in, but teams on the bubble, they got to hope no team like St. Mary's wins that conference championship.
There's always bid stealers.
Conference tournament championship.
And when Illinois...
Didn't they have them last year? Didn't St. Mary's win that? Or was it 2 years ago? Won that conference tournament and took a bid?
It seems like they're always bubble stealing.
Yeah.
Popping bubbles. Duke at Virginia. As far as Virginia's not
Give me Duke in a close one.
Yeah, Virginia's 19-7. They've played better than I thought they'd end up playing.
Yep.
But give me Duke as well. Duke Did they lose this week? Or was that 2 weeks ago? They did lose at NC State.
Yeah, I got smacked. Coach K did a blow-by. Handshake.
He is such a baby when his team loses, and then he comes out, makes sure his camera sees him, and stops one of their best players.
Oh, yeah.
He
knows how to work the system.
He's the worst. He is the most There's a lot of unlikable basketball coaches. Don't get me wrong. Bruce Pearl being the king of unlikable. But Coach K is right there with him. Yeah. He's just, can't stand him. Let's see. I had a good one. Oh, here we go. Seton Hall at Marquette.
Good Marquette. That's a good game.
I'm not sure where Marquette
Two potential national players of the year there, in Miles Powell and Marcus Howard, who had 38 in a losing effort at Providence the other day.
Yeah, Marquette just lost. Seton Hall's a good team. Kevin Willard's built a really good
Seton Hall had a good win over Butler at home last week. That's a good conference. Good basketball conference.
That's a coin flip.
Creighton is my dark horse for the Final Four.
Give me Marquette. Creighton is.
Yeah.
That'll do it for Saturday. Let's go Sunday. Speaking of Creighton, at the Giannis, St. John.
Give me Creighton. I can't say they're my dark horse for the Final Four and then
not
back
pick
off.
them. Yeah. Cincinnati at Houston. Cincinnati 18-9, squarely on the bubble.
Houston just lost to somebody over the weekend.
It was Memphis by 1.
Yeah, because Memphis needed a win like that. But give me Houston.
Their last. So Houston's lost.
That makes me feel great as I just picked them.
Hold on. Houston's lost 4 conference games this year by a combined 6 points.
That hurts.
They lost 63-61 to Tulsa, 64-62 to Cincinnati, 73-72 SMU, 60-59.
I think the fighting Kelvin Sampsons get this one done.
I agree. He's pretty unlikable character
he's
himself.
There, yeah.
But I think they get her done. Interesting one here. Colorado on the road again at 18-9 Stanford. Stanford, I think, was in Lenardi's next 4 out.
Give me the Cardinal.
They need a.
Give me Stanford.
They need a quality win.
Give me the Cardinal.
I think they get her done. I will go check out old Notre Dame here real quick.
I think they play
17-10.
They play at Boston College and at Wake Forest, I believe.
You are correct.
Yeah.
I think they win them both.
Yeah.
They need to.
I think they win them both as well.
They have to win out.
And I think Butler beats DePaul at home. But they did lose at DePaul.
That's their only game?
The only match. Yeah, they're done until Saturday. I don't know the health status of Kamar Baldwin.
14-13.
Yeah.
If he's not that bad, seems like he'd be able to
He did not play the second half the other day with an ankle.
DePaul did just win their second conference game.
Well, good for them. I think Butler wins this one.
That's a bad loss.
If Butler doesn't win this one at Hinkle, Bulldog fans can be real worried going into the postseason.
That's a bad loss for Georgetown.
Sure is.
They were kind of right there, but I don't think they are anymore.
Yep.
Anyway, that'll do it for our picks.
Yep.
Fun stuff. What else we got going on in the world?
Well, we were kind of talking before the podcast started.
Yeah.
And I want to issue you a challenge when it gets warmer.
No. As long as we don't tape it.
Yes, this is being videotaped. A game of 1-on-1 to 20 by 2s and 3s.
You're on.
You can pick where we play.
Where would we play? We'd play at your parents' house.
Probably, but
that's the only place I know that
has
has
a basketball. Could be at my grandparents' house. That's a tough. That takes us all day to score.
That rim is like that. It's like halfway.
And the backboard's literally as big as the state of Indiana.
Because it is pretty big. Our good friend Nathan Sewell, 6'6", used to
dunk on it.
But
you were talking some smack. You said
talking smack.
You were talking. Shoot me out of the building.
I could shoot you out of the building.
No chance.
Absolutely. I'd back you down. Do a little sky hook. Use my physicality to just render you unconscious. I'd just be throwing bows.
It's gonna be interesting.
Knock you out.
Because I
do a little jab step.
I issued a challenge to my dad a while back. I want to tape that one too because my 58, soon to be 59-year-old dad thinks he can beat me in a one-on-one. I'm pretty sure I can beat him.
That jump shot never leaves.
He's got a great jump shot, but he can't run and jump.
Scored 13 points a game his senior year at Rochester.
I don't care what he did. Without the three-point line.
Without the three-point line.
But he can't run, and I don't think there's a three-point line. Then I don't know. See, I don't know. But
that was like 1946, wasn't
it? He's going to appreciate that comment. But So we're on. So when it gets warmer.
We're going to have to do a little video of me.
Gonna have to do some pregame stretching so nobody pulls a muscle.
We're just gonna have to have an ambulance right there just in case. I might have to fake an injury.
Yeah, like Kevin James on Grown Ups.
Grown Ups, yeah.
So, all right, we're on.
Shoot you out of the gym.
Looking forward to it.
Not even close.
Well, we'll see.
You want to go right now? I mean, it's raining. It's 38.
No, that sounds awful.
Does not sound like a good idea.
But what do you got on the docket? We got about a little under 15 minutes left.
Spring training started. Marquee Network is up and running.
I saw it.
Limited programming that they've ran over and over and over again, but I haven't.
Has your TV changed channels?
I haven't really watched Marquee Network that much. I watched.
Bull, you stole my remote the other night.
I did.
When you were over here, had it on there.
How much did we watch of it?
Seemed like forever. It was a boring game.
Maybe 15 minutes worth.
Seemed like a lifetime.
I watched about 3 innings yesterday and got bored. Spring training baseball is boring.
It is pretty boring.
They did have some interesting content on it. They did like a countdown of top games ever. They did a really cool like inside info show called Cubs 162, which kind of chronicled David Ross's kind of interview process and his press conference and Nico Horner's first couple weeks in the big leagues and all sorts of stuff. Went to John Lester's home in the offseason. Lester and Hayward, our neighbors.
Like a Cribs type thing?
It really wasn't. It was mainly just he was talking about Ross being his boss now, and they're good friends. But Hayward is neighbors with him in Atlanta, so he came over and broke the news that he got engaged. So that's what I learned about Jason Hayward.
Good for him.
Yeah, I guess. Good for old Jay Hay. But in the summer, it's probably going to be on that station quite a bit.
Sure. Yep. Do you think this breaks down the barrier for more teams to get their own network eventually? Or right now it's just in the big markets?
It's the huge markets. I can't imagine the small market teams doing them like Cincinnati. I just can't imagine Miami. Could you see them?
No.
They'd have to partner. They might already partner with the Heat. Yeah.
Well, that's like the Yankees. They partner with the Nets. So the Network's not. It's pretty much exclusive to the Yankees, but they do cover the Nets too. Michael Grady, who used to work for 1070 The Fan in Indianapolis, or 107.5 The Fan it is now, he works for the S Network covering the Nets. So.
Yeah, which I thought that might be kind of what they do, because they're going to have to fill in time on the Marquee Network in the offseason. Right now, there's enough going on to where you can.
But they can fill in time with the offseason with content from the season.
Sure, come up with their own original programming, but it's going to be a bunch of rerun type of stuff.
It's just like any network, yeah.
But I'm just glad I'll be able to watch Cubs baseball, because I was a little nervous about it for a couple years now, really, because I knew it was coming. And I'm not one to like change very much. So
news to me. I don't have any thoughts on spring training. I literally haven't watched much or followed much, so I can't.
Not a whole lot's going on. Cubs have kind of taken it slow with Yu Darvish and Craig Kimbrell. I mean, they're veterans; they don't need a big, and Lester too. Kind of taking it slow, but I'm starting to get a little bit of an itch for the season to start.
I'm surprised it's taking this long for you.
Less so than years past. Probably because my college basketball team is still in the hunt, where they haven't been in a few years.
Yeah. But, NFL Combine's in the good state of Indiana this week.
That is right.
It's always held in Indianapolis.
It's a fun event.
Yeah, it's.
We went down
a couple of years ago.
That was 3 years ago
for
already.
A Saturday session with some wide receivers and quarterbacks.
I blew out a tire. That's the only thing I remember from that one. That was fun.
We missed out on a lot of the good quarterbacks, like Mahomes, Watson,
Trubisky.
I don't even know who the best one was that we saw.
Beathard. Is he the best one?
There had to be one better than him, but I can't think right now.
I can't think of one off the top of my head either that we saw.
Kaiser. He probably was the best one.
Beathard's better than Kaiser, isn't he?
They both were not very good.
That was the year John Ross?
John Ross in the afternoon broke the 40 record.
And, of course, we went to the morning session. Yep. But it was a cool event because they do this like fan experience where you can just walk around. There's just NFL players or former players and
executives and stuff walking
around. I scared the ever-living crap out of the Dolphins owner and their vice president or their president of football operations at the time, Mike Tannenbaum.
Now he's on ESPN.
Now he's on ESPN spewing just not very smart.
Fins up.
I go, I should have done the.
I couldn't believe you went over and talked to him to begin with.
Fins up. That's what I did, and they both kind of jumped back.
I was surprised he went over and said something.
I didn't say anything. I think we were just kind of crossing paths.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said anything because at the time they were not on very good terms with me. So
they rarely are.
Yeah. Now that Mike Tannenbaum's gone and Steve Ross has kind of taken his ideas out of football operations, it's gotten a little better. But anyway,
well, the combine always is good for rumors and stuff like that.
I don't believe a word anyone says at this time of year. But,
read an interesting rumor today, Broncos related. Marcus Mariota to be a potential backup to Drew Lock.
That'd be an interesting one.
They could do a lot worse than him, but they have to get rid of Joe Flacco first, which is going to cost them about $13 million.
Is it worth having him there, though? You're going to have to pay him to do nothing anyway.
Yeah, I think I would be surprised if he's on their roster next year.
The measurements and all that were today.
Yep, Tua
is the shortest quarterback.
And Justin Herbert's the tallest. And both of those have been rumored potential picks for the Dolphins at selection number 5.
Joe Burrow's hands measured at a real small, 9 inches today. And he said on Twitter, he tweeted, "Considering retirement after I was informed the football will be slipping out of my tiny hands. Please keep me in your thoughts."
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's got the jokes.
Yeah, he's going to be a Bengal.
Is he going to pull an Eli?
I don't think so.
You think? Man.
That would be weird. He's an Ohio kid.
This is the first time we've heard rumors about a potential Eli or Elway situation.
Ohio kid and, No, I don't think he does, but
I've been to Cincinnati many times. It's not my favorite place.
I've been to that stadium twice.
Can't imagine living in Cincinnati. No offense to anyone that lives there.
Jeez, man.
I don't care anymore. I have no filter. It's a Monday night.
But no, the combine's good stuff. And next week maybe I break out my first mock draft.
I'm excited to hear it. So who are you going to copy and paste from?
About 6 different sources and then throw in a few of my own.
What I used to do when I was a kid and we first got NFL Network, I don't remember what year we got NFL Network. It was probably 2006 or 7, I would say.
Probably earlier.
You think so? I don't know. It seemed later on. I used to it's when I had a phone. I might have had a stopwatch. Like when guys are running 40s, I'd be watching them on TV, hit the button. They'd go and see if my time could line up with it. I wasn't very good at it.
I want to see you race Rich Eisen.
Rich Eisen would blow the doors off me.
He runs like a 6-something.
There's no way I'd be able to run a 6-something. In a suit.
I think that's another video we need to do. 40.
No. I don't want to die, man.
It's 40 yards.
I'd have to train for a 40-yard dash.
It's a 40-yard dash, whereas a 1-on-1 basketball game to 20 could take a little while.
Yeah, but I could just, hold the ball, drain the clock. I could call timeout. Can't call timeout in the middle of.
Who said there's timeouts in this 1-on-1 game?
I'm making the rules.
Make up the rules right now, huh? Okay. We're going to get a referee. Evan Webb, a good buddy. He used to ref intramurals. He can be the official referee.
That'll work. Because I don't trust you. Because you'll be tripping over your feet and you're foul. That's right. Foul.
You're right. I would. I would, Jackie Moon style.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else to add to the combine. I don't have too much to add here either, but I want to make one quick note. Purdue started their spring football practice today. Interesting thing on their spring roster, Rondell Moore is listed as a sophomore, not a junior. So that means he must have took the medical red shirt, which isn't going to mean anything. But
I was going to say, I don't know why he wouldn't have. He only played in 4 games, didn't he?
Yeah, but that was still kind of surprising. Unless somebody made a mistake on the roster.
Why wouldn't he take the medical red shirt?
If he has good years, he'd jump anyways.
Yeah, I mean, really, if anything, if he doesn't have a good year.
Or another
gets
injury,
hurt
but
there was no downside to taking it.
Yeah, there just wasn't a lot of talk about that happening, so.
That's just weird. Why wouldn't it? Why? I just don't get.
But it was surprising. I was surprised to see that.
Why?
There had been no talk of him doing that. So
why wouldn't he?
There wasn't talk of him doing that. I don't know how many times I have to say
that.
So it took everybody by shock. I mean, the Purdue insiders weren't even saying it's not going to matter.
It's not even a medical red shirt because he didn't red shirt his freshman year, did he?
Correct, he didn't.
Okay, so he only
He's
played.
listed as a sophomore.
He only played 4 games, so he's a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, but just a sophomore though instead of redshirt.
That's okay.
That's probably a glitch, but still, because he would have to be a redshirt sophomore. He can't just be a sophomore. So next year's gonna be his 3rd year, but it was still weird to see that listed.
Was there anyone else that had like RS dash? Was there?
Yeah. And it was updated because the freshmen that are in their 2nd semester right now were listed as sophomores. Like David Bell was listed as a sophomore.
Well, he played all 12 games.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying whoever did it probably made a mistake because if he is a redshirt sophomore, it should have RS next to it.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyways, so that was my note on that. Quick golf note, World Golf Championships yesterday in Mexico saw Patrick Reed win his 8th PGA Championship.
People were all over Reed this week.
All over him for a few different things. Peter Costas came out, ex-CBS golf analyst, saying he caught Reed cheating or proving his lie about 3 or 4 different times. And it seems like
came out against him as well.
It seems like whenever controversies around Reed, he finishes off.
Yeah.
You can say what he wants. He is the biggest jerk in golf, but he's a heck of a golfer.
He's a pretty good golfer.
And Bryson DeChambeau, who's also in the news this week, he blew it. He had the lead going into hole 17, 3-putted. No, hole 17, 3-putted, and then hole 18 got a par. And he was in the news Saturday for he missed a putt, and he went to the bump. He hit the ball, and instead of tapping it down, he literally looked like he needed a hammer. He was doing that hard on the green about 10 times in a row. And he was getting ripped on that because that could rip up the green. It's not very good etiquette. So those two are in the news quite a bit for the wrong reasons, it seems like. Even though I do like both of them. I like the way they play. I was rooting for Bryson more so than Patrick. But, hey, hats off to Patrick. He is the villain or the heel in golf that we need.
There needs to be a villain everywhere.
Yeah, a guy that everybody likes to root against.
Mm-hmm. Ready for some birdie bogey?
Yep.
Zion Williamson has scored 20-plus points in 8 straight games, becoming the, let me rephrase it. Zion Williamson has scored 20-plus points in 8 straight games. Only one other teenager has more consecutive games with 20-plus points.
Well, there's 4 names that come to my mind. Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Tracy McGrady are the 4 that come to my mind.
None of those 4.
None of those 4.
None of those 4.
Great.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah.
This player went to college. And this player also did it twice. He had 2 separate times. He had 9 consecutive games with 20 or more points.
Because I went with all guys I thought that jumped straight from high school.
Yeah, that was my hint, was this guy went to college.
Oh, man. So somebody was really young. So it's a one and done. John Wall.
No. Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, yeah, he was a youngster, wasn't he?
Good
one.
Could have also said Durant because he was the one and done.
Good one. Yeah, they're both young. That was good. I don't know why I thought John Wall. Yeah, that was a tough question. Good question, though. Really good one. Another bogey. That's like a million in a row.
At least he gave an answer, unlike me last week.
Yeah, you missed them both by not even giving an answer. So,
stank.
That's all right. So, but thanks everybody for watching on the ISC Sports Network and everybody watching on the app. If you haven't downloaded the ISC Sports Network app, it's free to download. You can also watch it on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Chromecast. I'm sure I'm forgetting one.
Thought I had it on this paper.
And then you can also subscribe and listen to our podcast if you like listening to the podcast and you're watching this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, pretty much wherever you get your podcasts except SoundCloud. We are on all those. And if you listen on Google Podcasts, please give us a rating and review, preferably a 5-star. That'd be great. And with that said, we'll see you next Monday from the Tan and J-Man Show. Have a great week, everybody.